Mr. Speaker, I want to thank members for the support, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, but if you allow me to just just comment briefly on the member from Microsoft, what he said, Mr. Speaker. As usual, he speaks and he leaves the Parliament and complains that he is not given ample time, etc., Mr. Speaker. But as usual, he says things and he goes, Mr. Speaker. Now, I promised that this term, at least for now, I thought that the member of Microsoft would have gone into some sober reflection and she realized that what he said did not work. The people rejected it, but he started in the same old vein, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, just on the $2,500 thing, it wasn't no economic policy, you know. That was stated about 5 days before the election. The $2,500 didn't come as a policy. 5 days before the election, when things were looking very bad, when the polls were low, when the signs weren't working, the $2,500 just came out of the hat a few days before the election. You remember that, yeah? Just a few days before the election. Secondly, the member from Microsoft has a hotel. I advise him to begin the transition in his hotel. Pay the workers $2,500 a month, and he'll get. I mean, I would applaud him. And the tourism guru that he is, when he took that lead, all the hotels would follow him because he says he's got the advice on tourism. So if one of the best things he can do for tourism is increase the wage, he should start it. He should do it, and every hotel will follow him. That has nothing to do with the government. Nothing to do with the government. You think I would be annoyed if the lady working in Maynard Hill, if they pay her $2,500 a month, I'll be annoyed? Never. I would support it. The leader of the opposition must start. Lead the example. He knows everything about tourism. He knows how to grow the tourism industry. He thinks the best way is to start by increasing the wage. I support it. Let him start in his hotels. Secondly, as usual, it didn't work, but he continues. He says, I said AI was mind-bending. Everybody speaks about the responsible use of AI. Everybody speaks about that. Everybody speaks about it. But again, you know, he just likes to try to belittle people, Mr. Speaker. So I'm saying it again, that there must be responsible use of AI. And the $50,000 is for responsible use of AI. The member from Microsoft knows very well that there are workers who are very concerned about the advent of AI. He knows that, but again he tries, to come with this old stale food to believe he can raise something, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, that is the same leader of the opposition who a few minutes ago said that he would help the government in more stringent tax collection methods. In the same day, in the same speech, in the same day, a few minutes before, he said that he would assist government, talking on two sides of his mouth. He would help government to collect the revenue. On the other hand, he's blaming the government for people not paying the taxes. The same leader of the opposition that never told the public, in 2021, when we made these promises, payables were about $184 million, and he only left $36 million in the bank. That's the economy that he left for us. $36 million in the bank. The people in the Ministry of Finance were scratching their head how they would get the $43 million to pay salaries. The same member from Microsoft is not telling the public that St. Lucia was the highest indebted country after COVID. We borrowed the most from the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank. So that's why we could not give the $4,000. It's still our intention, but we're responsible. We'll do it when we can. But that is what he's not saying. He's not saying that we inherited unemployment at between 20 and 25%, and now unemployment has decreased. And even though he reads something from the Chamber of Commerce, unemployment has decreased to what we had it was when we inherited. The same member from Microsoft is not saying that youth unemployment was at over 40% when he left it for us. Now it's in the late 20s and it's too high, and we're still trying to reduce it, Mr. Speaker. And now, Mr. Speaker, suddenly ease of doing business is of no relevance to the leader of the opposition. Suddenly, the same leader of the opposition came here all last year talking about this and that, and again, slip of the tongue, the container port has moved to cul-de-sac. The leader of the opposition knows very well what the situation of containers. It's not a local condition situation only. He knows very well the supply chain issues that relate to containers. But again, it didn't work. He's still trying. Didn't work, but he's still trying. No container port hasn't gone. And there was discussion. You know, Mr. Speaker, the Chamber of Commerce were in constant discussion with SLASMA about the congestion on the ports. Constant discussion. That didn't happen suddenly. If you notice, there's an increase in, there's a new area at Slasper near Fulasho by the members' constituency. There you will see an extension, Mr. Speaker, to the port. There was discussion. The chamber was panicking that there would have been a strike, there would have been chaos during Christmas. There was even a strike by container bus drivers. He says there's no discussion. Where is his memory? That's deliberate. There was a strike which his party supported because he thought it would create embarrassment to the government of St. Lucia. And now he's talking about there was no discussion about container port, Mr. Speaker. I mean, then the same leader of the opposition now, because he's seen that there is an improvement and there was no chaos as he was predicting for Christmas, he's complaining about the change that we made. And that is what the people of St. Lucia realize. That the United Workers' Party, every day they pray for damnation to happen to the people of St. Lucia. Every day, including now, praying that something befalls St. Lucia, because they believe if something befalls St. Lucia, the St. Lucia Labour Party will lose elections. They pray for that even though they lost badly. They're still praying. Every day they get up and they write, let something happen to St. Lucia. Let something happen to St. Lucia. Let something happen. So that St. Lucians can suffer. And when St. Lucians suffer, they believe that the people will turn against the government, Mr. Speaker. And so Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, the leader of the opposition forgot that we had a walk of progress where thousands of people walked the streets. The support of the people of St. Lucia for the government is not only at the elections, you know. That was a walk of progress never tried by any government before, except in countries where people march as a show of they have to march. We had a walk of progress where thousands of people hit the streets supporting the policies of the government. The same leader of the opposition, remember that we gave civil servants a certain percent pay increase. We paid bonuses for 2 consecutive years. Mr. Speaker, so, you know, so when he comes to, he sent Mr. Speaker, and then, you know, I had promised to ignore him. But, you know, but I can't, because some people believe it. So you can't allow these things to just be said. And when you finish, as a member for Beaufort North says, they attack you. They say all kinds of things about all kinds of calumny. When they began it, this morning we came to the parliament and we were very sedate. We were very, we said that we will come to this parliament and we discuss. I have said it publicly. In fact, he tries to say that I said kumbaya. Of course I said kumbaya, because I beat him already. Of course I said kumbaya. Of course. I said, come on. I said, let's get together. Let's work for the benefit of the country. And I still say that. That's what I said. Do not try to use it against me. You started in the same old vein. So please, don't let us have every time in this parliament for us to remind the people of St. Lucia why they did not vote for your party. Let's not remind them, because it might turn against you in the party. So don't make me remind the people of St. Lucia. I don't want to remind them. I want you to be in parliament. I want your party to survive. I want you to remain as leader. So don't do that. Because what you're doing, you're going to cause me to have to just, then you come on the St. Lucia again, trying to poke, goes all over the place, saying things about the government. We are enemies of the United States. Have you ever heard anybody in this parliament say we got enemies of the United States? All what we said is true. Then we this and that. I mean, they've been pushing for us to go offshore and say something that we ought not to say, to hoping that they will put ourselves in conflict with the United States. They were rejoicing when the United States, when the last visa policy came out, they were rejoicing. The United States said that immigrant visas have to be suspended. They were jumping up, St. Lucia, no visa, no visa. Why? Why are you doing that? And after the next day, when they saw that it wasn't only St. Lucia, it was 70 other states, and it was immigrant visas. They never came back and said, I made a mistake. Jumping up, happy. Why? In talking about external affairs, the minister was, what? He said, I reiterate, the government of St. Lucia, our positions have been clear. Our positions have been clear. And the situation that's happening now, and geopolitical situations are way above our pay grade. What we have to do is we have to understand that we must make the necessary amendments and adjustments for us to survive without selling our souls. And that's what we're doing. So I make no apologies about it, Mr. Speaker, and I'm not involved in sensation. I'm not involved in playing to the gallery. I'm involved in trying to help the people of St. Lucia who have shown confidence in the government, help us to chart through these uncharted waters. Uncharted waters, Mr. Speaker. So the opposition should not be always poking fire, hoping that something will catch and St. Lucians will suffer. Why do you want St. Lucians to suffer? Why? So, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank members, Mr. Speaker, for supporting the income tax bill. And let me advise the leader of the opposition that this budget is going to be a budget for the times. It's going to be a budget relevant to the times that we live in. That's what it's going to be. A budget that is related to the times that we live in. A budget that will be, as usual, well thought of. And, Mr. Speaker, the leader of the opposition even doubts when growth rates for St. Lucia are given by the national institutions. I'm not the one who said there was growth in the economy, no. International institutions and my colleagues in the Ministry of Finance know how I think about many of these things. But I have a responsibility. I have a fiscal responsibility. I could go and borrow. St. Lucia, as I speak, there are about 12 people, 12 investors who have so much confidence in Lucia's economy that they want to have bold arrangements for us. About 12 businessmen, 12. Local, regional, international, who want to get involved in bold agreements. One of the bold agreements, Mr. Speaker, is to build a new parliament building. I know you need that. People are knocking the door all the time, asking to build a new parliament building. Mr. Speaker, we spoke about disabled access. I mean, but I have a responsibility to the people of this country who have shown confidence in me 7 times in my constituency and twice as Prime Minister. So I have that responsibility. So I'm going to go ahead and borrow to please the leader of the opposition, also, or to make statements to sound for the leader of the opposition. Even though I make statements, he'll still not agree and not say what I have to say. I have a responsibility, and whilst I have the strength that God gave me and the support of members of the cabinet and the pillars, I'll take decisions after due process, after thinking about it, not based on emotion, on knee-jerk. And if you look at all the policies, how the policies have followed, Mr. Speaker, they followed in sequence. We're not a perfect government. We haven't done everything to perfection, Mr. Speaker. But look at, Mr. Speaker, look at how we've guided this economy from 2021. Look at the steps we've taken. Look at where we got it from, and look at where we brought it. And all, we still exercise prudence. We have the fiscal space to borrow. I think there are only 12 people who want to build buildings for us. If we were like him, we'd already mashed up the print tree. We don't mash up the print tree, but we are a responsible government, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, this morning I was driving, and I was proud of the House of Justice that's been built now. It will change the landscape of Castries. And when you go up north, you look at the police, Northern Police Headquarters. We're taking it step by step. And the next step, Mr. Speaker, we're going to be building headquarters for the police themselves. Next step. That's how we do it. Step by step. And then we go to the fire service. Step by step. Not in a mad haste. Step by step. We are responsible government, Mr. Speaker, and I'm a responsible Minister of Finance. And the books of the country show that our payables at the end of December was less than $40 million. He left the government $184 million and did not pay NIC for workers. We owe the NIC not only for rent, but only for workers' contributions. The government he led. And you come in and you NIC rent and also NIC workers didn't pay the NIC. We paid up. And I have an accountant general who likes money. He likes money, Mr. Speaker. He holds tight and do money. Tight, here dropping at all. You understand? And that is why, Mr. Speaker, we paid civil servants on the 21st of January. Unheard of. Unheard of. After we paid a bonus and we had a VAT-free day, we could pay civil servants on the 1st of January because of the management of the economy, the management of cash flow. That's what we did. And this is not pie in the sky. That's what we did. That's what we did, Mr. Speaker. And we have already started to document our book of achievements. That's what we did. When you have a government, pay a bonus, have a duty-free day, a VAT-free day, and pay salaries on the 21st, and pay all our bills, and if our payables are less than $40 million, I talk about management of the economy. That's what we did. You know why? Because I listen to the people in the Ministry of Finance. I don't push them around. I don't play economist and engineer when I could only drive. I don't do that, Mr. Speaker. I sit and I come to consensus. I take the last decision, but I come to consensus with them in everything I do. Because together, Mr. Speaker, we're going to be growing this country together, not individually. I don't raise my hand as being any guru of anything. Tourism, not one new hotel room. You understand, Mr. Speaker? So, Mr. Speaker, I think that bill is the accumulation of one stage of the process of income tax reform. And by the time, and income tax, Mr. Speaker, means we also have to ensure compliance. So, part of our objective in this term is to ensure that there's technology in the Inland Revenue Department so that we can collect the taxes in a timely manner based on information, Mr. Speaker. And I've tasked the Inland Revenue Department, I've tasked them to ensure that the money is there for the computerization of the Inland Revenue Department. We want that to happen, Mr. Speaker. We want it to happen. So, Mr. Speaker, I am saying to you, I would love if I could come here and say things that didn't mean anything. But when I come here to speak, Mr. Speaker, I come here to speak based on facts, Mr. Speaker, based on the issues. I've spoken about the downside risks. I know there are downside risks to the economy. We live in a geopolitical situation where there are downside risks. I know that. So, Mr. Speaker, we have to protect ourselves with what we have. This is why we speak about eating what you grow. That's why you talk about that. That's what we speak about, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to commend this amendment to this Honorable House. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.